The greatest lie we are ever told is that some people are born brave while the rest of us are born to hide. We look at the man on the stage or the woman leading the room and we think they have a secret. We think they were built with a piece of machinery that we are missing. We call it it. We say they have it. But the truth is much quieter and much more powerful. Confidence is not a gift, it is a choice. It is not the absence of fear, it is the realization that something else is more important than that fear. It is the moment you decide that you will no longer be a spectator in your own life. Imagine a man named Sam. Sam is 32 years old. He lives in a city full of glass buildings and fast-moving people. Every morning, Sam wakes up to the sound of an alarm that feels like a demand he cannot meet. He brushes his teeth, looks in the mirror, and looks away. He doesn't like what he sees, not because he is a bad man, but because he sees a man who has given up. Sam works in a cubicle in a large office. He is talented. He has ideas that could save his company thousands of dollars. He sees the flaws in the systems. He knows how to fix them. But when the meetings happen, Sam stays quiet. He sits in the back. He stares at his notepad and doodles lines and circles. He watches as other people with half his talent but twice his nerve, take the floor. He watches them get the promotions. He watches them get the respect. He goes home to a quiet apartment, eats a cold dinner, and tells himself that tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow is always the same. This is the weight of a life lived without confidence. It is a slow, heavy ache. It is the feeling of being a ghost in your own skin. One Tuesday, the weight became too much to carry. Sam was passed over for a lead role on a project he had essentially designed. His boss didn't even look him in the eye when he gave the news. It wasn't because the boss was mean, it was because Sam was invisible. He had made himself small for so long that people forgot he was there. Sam walked out of the building that evening. The sun was setting, casting long orange shadows over the pavement. He walked until his feet hurt. He ended up at a small park where an old man was sitting on a bench throwing breadcrumbs to birds. The birds were frantic, fighting over every piece. Sam sat on the other end of the bench. He looked defeated. He looked like a man who had lost a war he never even fought. The old man didn't look up, but he spoke in a voice that sounded like gravel and honey. He said, "The birds that don't fly don't eat. It doesn't matter how hungry they are. It only matters how much they trust their wings." Sam looked at the man. "What if the wings are broken?" he asked. The old man finally looked at him. His eyes were bright. "Wings aren't broken by the wind," he said. "They are broken by the cage, and the door to your cage has been open the whole time. You're just afraid of the height." That night, Sam didn't go straight to sleep. He stood in front of his bathroom mirror. He didn't look away this time. He looked at his eyes. He saw the fear. He saw the doubt. But underneath it, he saw a tiny spark of anger. It was the anger of a man who was tired of being left behind. He realized that confidence wasn't going to fall out of the sky. He wasn't going to wake up one day feeling like a lion. He had to build it, brick by brick, with his own hands. He started small. The next morning, he didn't look at the floor when he walked into the office. He looked at the receptionist and said, "Good morning," with a clear, steady voice. He felt his heart hammer against his ribs like a trapped bird, but he did it. At lunch, he didn't sit in the corner with his phone. He sat at a table with two coworkers. He didn't say much, but he stayed. He endured the discomfort of being seen. He realized that the world didn't end when people looked at him. Confidence is a muscle. If you don't use it, it withers. If you push it, it grows. Weeks passed. Sam started going to the gym, not to look like a movie star, but to feel his own strength. He wanted to know that his body could do what his mind told it to do. He started wearing clothes that fit him well. He stood taller. He stopped apologizing for taking up space. Then came the big test. A new project was being launched. It was a high-stakes deal that required a presentation to the board of directors. In the past, Sam would have hidden. He would have hoped no one noticed him. This time, when the manager asked for volunteers to lead the pitch, the room went silent. The pressure was heavy. Sam felt that old, familiar coldness in his stomach. His brain screamed at him to stay quiet. It told him he wasn't ready. It told him he would fail and everyone would laugh. But Sam remembered the old man in the park. He remembered the cage. He raised his hand. The room turned to look at him. His manager looked surprised. "You want this, Sam?" "Yes," Sam said. His voice shook slightly, but he didn't take it back. "I'm the best person for this job." The week leading up to the presentation was the hardest of his life. He didn't sleep much. He practiced until his throat was sore. He faced 1,000 internal demons. Every time he felt like quitting, he reminded himself that the pain of trying was better than the shame of hiding. The day arrived. The boardroom was cold and smelled of expensive coffee and leather. The executives sat behind a long table, looking like judges. Sam stood at the front. He looked at the slide on the screen. He looked at the faces waiting for him to speak. For a second, his mind went blank. The silence felt like an ocean. Then he took a deep breath. He didn't think about the outcome. He didn't think about the promotion. He only thought about the truth of his work. He began to speak. He wasn't perfect. He stumbled once on a statistic, but he didn't crumble. He smiled, corrected himself, and kept going. He spoke with passion because he actually cared. He spoke with authority because he had done the work. When he finished, there was a beat of silence. Then the head of the board nodded. "Good work, Sam. That was clear. That was brave." Sam walked out of that room a different man. He didn't get a standing ovation. He didn't win $1 million, but he had won something much more valuable. He had won the right to trust himself. As the months went by, everything changed because Sam changed. He started getting invited to the inner circles. He started leading teams. His income grew, yes, but the real change was in his spirit. He moved through the world with a sense of peace. He wasn't trying to prove he was better than anyone else. He was just no longer afraid of being himself. He went back to the park one afternoon. The old man wasn't there, but the birds were. Sam sat on the bench and watched them fly. He realized that the world hadn't changed. The city was still loud. The glass buildings were still high. The people were still fast. The only thing that changed was his perspective. He no longer felt like a ghost. He felt solid. He felt real. Self-confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room. It is not about knowing all the answers. It is the simple, quiet belief that you can handle whatever happens next. It is knowing that even if you fail, you are still enough. When you find your confidence, you stop asking for permission to exist. You stop waiting for someone to tell you that it's your turn. You realize that the door to the cage was never locked. You were just waiting for yourself to realize you had wings. Now, look at your own life. Think about the things you have stayed silent about. Think about the dreams you have tucked away because you didn't think you were that kind of person. You are that person. The only difference between you and the version of yourself you admire is the willingness to be uncomfortable. The world is waiting for you to show up. It is waiting for your voice, your ideas, and your light. It might be scary. Your heart might race. Your hands might shake. Do it anyway. Raise your hand. Speak your truth. Walk into the room like you belong there, because you do. Confidence changes everything because it changes the way you see the world. And when you change the way you see the world begins to change for you. Don't wait for the fear to go away. It never goes away. Just decide that you are bigger than your fear. Take that first small step today, and then take another tomorrow. You have been in the cage long enough. It's time to fly. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to MindBridge Tales. Every story here is a lesson. Every lesson is a step towards a better life. God bless you.